Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The video that I'm putting out tonight, it's about two topics that have come out on the news yesterday and about a day or two ago, or 2 or 3 days ago, something like that. That one being about California, that it's only gotten very little to almost no coverage on the news, and it has to deal with the homelessness crisis in California, which we're going to wind up getting to, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But the first story that I'm going to show you is that somebody came out from the Biden administration, I believe, and put out some actual numbers, okay, about how many illegals the Biden administration has let into the country. And not only did they let into the country, that they re-released them into the country, okay, but it wasn't just people that crossed the border illegally. It was actually tens of thousands of murderers and rapists. Okay, you heard that right. People convicted of rape, okay, sexual assault in some way, shape, or form, and murderers. Okay, people that are wanted back in their home countries. The Biden administration and Kamala Harris has basically given what one will call amnesty, okay, to illegal migrant, I'll say it again, murderers and rapists. Okay. Instead of rounding them up and sending them back so they can serve justice, no. They released them into the country so that they can keep on their demonic, chaotic reign by committing crimes here in America. Okay? And I'm very surprised. Well, I'll take that back. I'm actually not surprised that people like, I don't know, like Joy Reid on MSNBC, who loves to go out there like she did a few days ago and just pander once again through TikTok, how she's explaining how Trump is racist and everybody's racist and everybody's this and everybody's that. But as a woman, she won't come out and put the dirt out about what's going on with this report, just like every other Democrat show, just like every other leftist news organization. They're not, putting it out because it doesn't fit their narrative. And if I had to guess, this is what they want. They want total chaos. They get off on people being hurt. Okay? Because for the life of me, I don't care what side of the aisle you stand on. If you know for a fact that there are thousands of people being let in that are known convicted rapists and murderers from other countries, why would you not want to capture them and send them back? How can you be okay, and how in the world can you sleep at night knowing that you're okay with letting people like that into the country and not even care that, you know what, I should be against it because the next innocent victim could be somebody I know or maybe somebody I love. And I use that term loosely for the Democrats because I don't think they know anything about what true love is. I don't think it's in their heart. I think what's in their heart is just a demonic agenda. They may care about somebody, but they obviously don't care enough to keep the criminals, okay, illegal criminals at that, out of the country. And also, the American-born criminals, they don't want them to serve any jail time, so they give them no cash bails and let them out into the street. Okay? So, with that being said, it's actually an ICE official, I think an ICE director or somebody that was a director for ICE, that basically got the facts. Okay? At least the facts that he can obtain up until a certain point, okay? Because there is talk that supposedly there's over 2 million illegals that they consider gotaways, meaning that they know they came into the country They were tracking them. They know they came in, but they never apprehended them to find out. So on top of these people that were let in, there is at least or over 2 million more that nobody, not ICE, not the government, nobody knows about. Nobody knows anything about them. They know they got in, but they have no clue whatsoever who exactly it is and what they're all about. Okay? But with all that being said, I just want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. And also, once again, I'm leaving a link to Loza Alexander's Give Send Go campaign. If you guys can help donate and help him out. As a matter of fact, he put out a really cool song yesterday or 2 days ago. It's called Bum Yum or something. It's like a beach tune. It's real tropical, in my opinion, sort of like almost like a mixture between, I'm not gonna say calypso, but I think it's pretty cool. I think it has a really nice rhythm to it. You guys should go check it out. I can't really do a reaction on it because I wouldn't know how to on a song like that, but it's I think it's a really cool song that you can play on an early, Saturday afternoon, just hanging out with some people outside, having a barbecue. But go check it out on his page. It's called Bum Yum or something like that. I think what the title means is like beach bum, something to that effect. Is just me, but you should definitely go check it out. And again, if you can help him out and or leave prayers and words of encouragement on his channel, it's all greatly accepted on his channel and on his Give Send Go campaign. So with all that being said, okay, we're gonna get to the first video, okay, of what's going on as far as June 10th in Jacumba, California. And the title to this, it says ICE directors 13,000 plus cross-border with murder convictions. You need to hear this. This is insane, but here we go.
Border crisis. Wait until you hear this. The Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms that more than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
Of course.
The letter here tells the tale. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. You believe this, Sandra?
Which means they are here, and this is just an unbelievable development. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Good to be with you, John. This is America Reports. Let's get right to Bill Malugian. He's got this news for us. He's live out of Douglas, Arizona.
Oh, I'm going to stop this real quick. I'm going to try to squeeze in between, right after this, something that Greg Abbott did that caught my attention today, that it should bring some light to all this. But we'll get to that. Here we go.
Right now, where Vice President Kamala Harris is set to visit later this afternoon. Bill, the details of this news, what do you have?
Yeah, and Sandra, bear with me. We just got these numbers moments ago, but it's a jaw dropper to say the least. So to set the stage here, let me just explain what these numbers mean. ICE has something called a non-detained docket. Essentially what that is it means migrants who were encountered by DHS but are no longer in federal custody. So who...
Look at this. Before he even gets to it, I'm going to read it out. Okay? 13,099 convicted of homicide have been caught at the border and released into the United States. 15,811 illegal migrants convicted of sexual assault have been caught at the border and then released into the United States. In total, okay, of all the people that they caught that they know they have criminal records, is at 425,431. Let's continue.
Who's on this non-detained docket? It's illegal immigrants who were caught and released at the border, released with the court date years away. They're in immigration proceedings, combined with illegal immigrants who have already been ordered, deported from the country by a judge, but are still here roaming the country. So keep that in mind, this non-detained docket. According to a letter that the acting director of ICE just sent to Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez, on ICE's non-detained docket, they're currently tracking 425,000 non-citizens who have been convicted of a crime. Of that number, over 13,000 non-citizens have convictions for homicide and are on the non-detained docket, meaning they're roaming the country right now. On top of that, there are another 15,811 non-citizens convicted of sexual assault who are roaming the country right now on ICE's non-detained docket. It doesn't stop there. Those are...
And then, for Kamala Harris to go saying that she wants to be president, this is what I'm saying, that these Democrats, they're just so beyond demonic. Okay, I don't even know if you can get beyond that, but they're just so damn demonic that it's like, you know for a fact that if you was in charge to do this, first they tried to eliminate ICE. Okay, this is what I've been trying to tell a lot of people, okay? Because a lot of people ask me, you know, where's all this going? This is all by design. Okay? First they rally AOC, everybody on the left, the squad, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, everybody, that they want to abolish ICE because it puts fear into the immigrant communities. Well, if you didn't have illegal immigrant communities, it would have put fear into them. That's number one. But pushing that to the side, they don't care about that. Okay? But not only do you try to get rid of ICE and you tie their hands and you tie the hands of the border agents, okay, and local law enforcement and all that, like in all the blue states and cities, okay, you let in more criminals, okay, which case in point, how many videos have I done just on my own of how many illegals have been caught for committing crimes, including rape and murder? And then the left wants to spin it and say, not so much about the rape part, but about the crimes that they're committing is because, and this is what I'm saying, that the Democrat Party is being run by the enemy himself. Because how do you let in so many people, knowing that you don't have the housing, you don't have the jobs, you don't have the medical coverage and or monies or whatever to take care of them, but then when they commit a crime, then you go and spin it and say, well, it's because they're desperate and desperate people will do desperate things. Yes, but if you didn't let them in the first place, this would never happen. Okay? It's that split tongue that they have, like the snakes that they are. Okay? Now bringing back the rape aspect into all this, there is no excuse on that. Okay? There is no excuse for anybody to go to any country and because you're falling on hard times that you will go and violate somebody. The only thing that I could think of, okay, the reason why is because they want that kind of carnage in America. They want it to fall. They want victims. Okay? Or maybe they're just a bunch of sadist masochists. They get off on it. Let's continue.
Those are convictions. The ICE director also says there are currently just under 1,900 non-citizens on the non-detained docket who have pending homicide charges who are roaming the country, and another 4,250 non-citizens who have pending sexual assault charges.
Okay, I'm gonna pause that. I'm gonna go back, people. You have 13,000 that have already been convicted of homicide. Almost 16,000 already convicted of sexual assault. Then you have over 1,800 pending homicide, over 4,000 pending sexual assault. Why is it that between pending and convicted, you have nearly 20,000 people out there committing sexual assaults? Okay? That is nearly 7,000 more than people killing. Why are they letting in so many rapists into the country? And now, this is one number that I don't think he explains, but I like to know. between these two numbers that are going on now and the two numbers you can see at the bottom while I'm moving the mouse, how many of those homicides were part of a rape? Think about that. But let's continue.
1,250 non-citizens who have pending sexual assault charges who are roaming the country on the non-detained docket. So people's eyes might be glazing over right now with all the numbers we just threw at you. Just to put it in a nutshell right here, what we've learned from the acting ICE director via this letter to Congressman Tony Gonzalez is right now there are over 13,000.
Look at all these men. You mean to tell me all these men are asylum seekers? All of them? No, they are flooding the country like they've been saying, and Kamala Harris and all the leftist shills that are on the social media network platforms and all that, just doing their demonic overlords bidding, is like, oh, it's not that they're letting in, military age men or whatever the case is. No, what you're letting in is mostly men, okay, that they want to change the work demographic, number one, and number two, you're letting in men that are fleeing, not because of being persecuted because of their religious belief or political belief. No, they're fleeing because their asses are wanted back in their country for murder and or rape. Okay? Lest anybody forget the story of the three little pigs and the wolf. Okay? What you don't think the big bad wolf is going to come in sheep's clothing? This is what I'm saying, that I truly believe that these people that are in charge, they're a bunch of masochist sadists, man. That they get off on all this carnage, especially the rape aspect. That should put fear into every single female political official without anyone worried about liberalism, the humanity of it all. No, that should put fear into them to say, you know what? We don't need any rapists in this country more than what we have already. Let's continue.
Illegal aliens convicted of homicide who are roaming the United States right now. There are another 15,811 illegal aliens roaming the country right now who have been convicted of sexual assault, and there are even more who are facing charges for homicide and charges for sexual assault. So this just goes to show, guys, the non-detained docket has exploded under the Biden administration to over, I believe it's 7.3 million. They're anticipating it could hit 8 million by the end of the year. But looking at the numbers on this letter right here, there are currently over 600,000 non-citizens on ICE's non-detained docket who are either convicted, 600,000 non-citizens on this non-detained docket who are roaming the country right now. Of that,
look at all these men. Look at this, people.
Non-citizens on this non-detained docket who are roaming the country right now. Of that, 425,000 have already been convicted of crimes. 222,000.
You mean to tell me that all these men are fleeing persecution, that all these men are seeking asylum, when all those men can stand together as a damn army and fight against whatever it is in their country? Now, I'm not saying they're all like this. Okay, there are many men that come throughout, that's been coming since the beginning of this country's foundation. Okay? But in this era, in this time right now in history, you mean to tell me that all these men cannot band together and fight for their land? Fight against the oppression or whatever regime or whatever the case is? How are they supposed to make their country better by coming here, leaving the women and children behind, in the hands, okay, of supposedly the people that are persecuting them? And yet Biden and Harris, all they can do is go out there and pander to the masses. And what really is disturbing is the way the masses that listen to them keep listening to them and cannot look at this and say, wait a minute, this is not right. Okay? I mean, it is beyond me that how I should say that Biden is not being arrested for like treason, and Kamala Harris and for crimes against humanity. It is totally beyond me. We definitely have a problem in this country with all of our government officials. We definitely have a damn problem. But let's continue.
Are pending crimes. And again, the most serious crimes we just told you about. Over 13,000 convicted of homicide, over 15,000 convicted of sexual assault. And honestly, that is not a surprise to hear given these horrible headlines we keep seeing popping up in multiple parts of the country almost every day now of a horrible sexual assault or a murder or another violent felony committed by an illegal alien who is often caught and released from custody. And the jaw dropper here too, guys, is all these numbers we just rattled off, they don't even account for the nearly 2 million gotaways who have crossed our border under the Biden administration. Those almost 2 million gotaways, they were never encountered by DHS. They snuck in, they were never caught by Border Patrol, they were never encountered by ICE. There's no record of them, so they have nothing to do with the numbers I just rattled off to you. These are just the numbers of people that ICE has already encountered, that Border Patrol has encountered, that DHS knows who they are. And we just saw those horrible stories in Nantucket the other day. ICE ran a week-long operation in Nantucket, and in a single operation in a 48-hour span, they arrested 2 Salvadoran illegal aliens who came into the country as gotaways and were arrested for child rape on Nantucket. They got a Brazilian guy who was arrested for sexually assaulting a Nantucket resident, and then a Guatemalan guy who was previously deported who was arrested for sexually assaulting a Nantucket resident. So we keep seeing all these headlines about migrant crime popping up in different cities all over the country. This right here,
all in Nantucket. And then once again, 2 men preying on a child. Okay? You know, people are saying and blowing this dog whistle or whatever the case is, saying that Kamala Harris is the best thing for the country. She is a wretched snake of a woman. Okay? For her to know, first of all, she came out and said when she was asked how does she feel about I believe it was abolishing ICE, I believe she came out and said that it was something to look into, or something to that effect, or something. It had to do with either ICE or the police. But she definitely, excuse me, was talking about, oh, it's something to look into. You know, for a woman that says she stands for women's rights, this is why I'm saying that the Democrat Party is the party of death. The woman doesn't care about who's coming in preying on little kids and females, and at the same time she wants to run her campaign on women celebrating the fact that they can abort more babies. You can't make this up, people. I'm not making this up. Just look at it for what it is. Look at it flat on its face and say, wait a minute, why is it, for all you lefties out there, because you left me more messages, look at it and say, why is it that I'm voting for a woman that won't stop the rapists from coming into the country, but is also at the DNC convention let Planned Parenthood bring a bus outside where over the course of that week they gave over 25 abortions out in the street in that van. Ask yourself, and then look in the mirror and say, are you really standing on the right side of history? Because you're mad at a man that is not against abortion and wants to shut the border. He's trying to preserve life. And you people are worshiping a woman that wants to destroy life.
Is the first time we have ever seen specific numbers as to who and what ICE is tracking when it comes to convicted criminals who have crossed the border at some point and are either supposed to be deported or are going through their immigration proceedings but are not in ICE custody right now and are roaming the country. So I'll ping it back to you guys, but some pretty jaw-dropping numbers that we are still going through as we speak right now.
So,
all right, and I'm gonna leave, hold on, let me just see one more
Bill,
thing.
this letter that was sent from the acting director of ICE to Congressman Tony Gonzalez of Texas, it responds to an inquiry that Gonzalez sent him back in March. I just talked to Gonzalez a moment ago, and he's going to be joining us at the top of our next hour. He's surprised that he ever heard back at all. But what's interesting is
Why would
in
he?
this letter, the acting director says, quote, ICE recognizes that some jurisdictions are concerned that cooperating with federal immigration officials will erode trust with immigrant communities and make it harder for law enforcement to serve those populations. However, sanctuary policies can end up shielding dangerous criminals
Exactly.
who often victimize those same communities. I mean,
Yep.
that would appear to be, from the acting director of ICE, a tacit acknowledgement here that sanctuary policies are endangering the public.
100%. And I talk to a lot of ICE contacts pretty much every single day, and that is their biggest frustration is all over the country there are these jurisdictions who simply will not cooperate with them, no matter how heinous the crime is. I mean, the Boston ICE office is arresting child rapists and these horrific sexual assaulters, and these local jurisdictions, ICE will put a detainer on them and basically say, hey, please hold them in custody, we'll send our guys and we'll pick them up. That way they don't get back into the community. The locals ignore ICE, ignore their detainers, and just release them back onto the streets, sometimes with a tiny bond, a few $1,000s for a child rape or an aggravated sexual assault. It makes ICE want to pull their hair out. And you did see that in the ICE director's letter. It is a head nod that, hey, we got to deal with a lot of sanctuary jurisdictions who will not cooperate with us for any reason. And when Kamala Harris visits the border today, if she takes any questions, I'm hoping she does. One of the things I'm hoping to ask her is, back in 2019, she campaigned for president as saying she wants to get rid of all ICE detainers, saying they tear families apart.
That was right.
You know, one of the biggest things we hear from ICE is there's this misconception about them that they're kicking in doors of grandmas and little kids and going after people who are just working and here for a better life. The people they're going after right now are the worst of the worst. We're talking serious felons, murderers, sexual assaulters, rapists, that sort of a thing. And when ICE detainers are not honored and these local jurisdictions just release people back out onto the streets without notifying the feds, it's dangerous for everybody involved. It's dangerous for the local community who might have a sex predator back on their streets. It's dangerous for ICE because instead of having someone just handed over to the jail to them in a secure environment, now ICE has to use their resources to develop intel and try to find this guy and find out where he's going to be, and then use 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of their officers to go apprehend this guy who could be violent. Maybe they'll fight back. Maybe they won't want to go back into federal custody. So it's dangerous for everybody involved. And these sanctuary jurisdictions, you know, it's going to come to a point here soon. Donald Trump is vowing to end them. I had a phone call with him the other day. I said, well, how are you going to end them? What are you going to do? And he said, well, if it comes down to it, I'm going to strip federal funding away from sanctuary cities. I said, well, how far are you willing to go with that? Will you pull FEMA disaster money from them? He said, yes, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. We don't know where Kamala Harris stands on sanctuary cities right now. I'd love to ask her that today if she takes any questions. We'll find out later. But her running mate, Tim Walz, has advocated for pushing to have Minnesota become a sanctuary state in the past. So these are questions that Kamala Harris's campaign will have to answer about where she stands on sanctuary jurisdictions, detainers. She pledged to get rid of ICE detainers back in 2019. Where does she stand on that now? Has she flip-flopped on that like she has on some of her other border positions? Hopefully we get the chance to ask that, John.
Well, I can answer that because I seen when she went to the border, supposedly she was way off she was in the distance where you couldn't catch what they were saying on audio. They were telling all the camera people to stand back while she spoke to two Border Patrol agents. Okay, you couldn't hear what they were saying, nothing. And then she wound up staying a few minutes and she left. And supposedly she got there at what they say 9 or 10. It was like 9:11 or 10:11 in the morning or something like that, and was gone by the half hour, by like 9:30 or 10:30. So basically, they said she was there for less than 20 minutes at the border, and then she took no questions from reporters. So basically, it's like she went there to show face. There was one cameraman that they let through that you could see the people, the news reporters in the back with their cameras on this cameraman. He was the only one that was let in. He was on his knee just taking pictures of Kamala Harris with the two ICE agents as if they were talking, and then pictures were taken and it was done. So once again, she did nothing. Okay? She did absolutely nothing. She just went there for a damn photo op. Okay? And while all this information is circulating, all this information is coming to light, she's on the campaign trail saying that the most important thing for women voters in America, that Donald Trump doesn't have their back, or they don't have his back, is about reproductive rights, which is basically abortion, murder. So you're letting criminals into the country, and you're also trying to destroy the American population by feeding women, this notion that, you know what, it's your body, you don't have to have a baby. Let the government take care of you if you're single, or whatever the damn case is. It's demonic. That's it, plain and simple. The Democrat Party has become the party of masochists and sadists, in my opinion. Okay? But, with that being said, there is some light coming from Texas, okay, that Greg Abbott is putting out. But something tells me that the federal government, or I should say the Biden-Harris regime, they're going to find a way to fight back on this. Okay? They really are. But we'll get into that right now. Here we go. Okay, this was put out by Newsweek, actually on the 24th. Okay? Greg Abbott puts $5,000 bounty on Venezuelan gang members spreading carnage. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is offering a $5,000 bounty for information that leads to the capture of members of the notorious Venezuelan gang Tren de Agua that has spread terror and carnage across the United States. The crime syndicate has gained nationwide attention after a viral video showed armed members of the group storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado. TNA originated as a prison gang in Aragua, Venezuela, but is rapidly expanding in recent years, according to the U.S. Department of State. Tren de Agua has spread terror and carnage in every county they've been in, and Texas will not allow them to gain a foothold in our state, Governor Abbott said in a statement. Okay, today I am announcing a reward for any information that leads to the identification and arrest of known or suspected members of this gang who have been or are involved in heinous crimes. Texas will not let these thugs use our state as a base of operations to terrorize our citizens. I encourage anyone with information on Tren de Agua to call the Texas Crime Stoppers hotline or submit an anonymous tip online. With the public's help, combined with the hard work of federal, state, and local law enforcement, we will capture these dangerous gang members and put them behind bars for good. Okay? On September 16, Abbott signed a proclamation designating the gang as a foreign terrorist organization. He also ordered the Texas Department of Public Safety to deploy a strike team with state troopers, Texas Rangers, and other law enforcement groups to hurt the gang in Texas. The recent entry and expansion of the vicious Venezuelan gang, Tren de Agua, is a dangerous and deadly problem facing our state and nation, Abbott said after signing the proclamation. So, not only did he proclaim them a terrorist organization, this man is putting a $5,000 bounty on the head of every single gang member or suspected gang member that they're going to wind up, okay, capturing. I tell you, this will be a bounty hunter's dream right now as we speak. Okay? And I hope, in all honesty, instead of spending billions of dollars, okay, trying to house these criminals, that a lot more states will say, you know what? And even people in the communities will say, you know what? Time to start making some money. For the first time, at least from what I know, this is the chance for anyone who wants to prove their patriotism, okay, that if you know of these gangs, hey, go make some money for America. I mean, That's just the bottom line. This is not instilling any kind of hate or any kind of carnage or anything like that on anybody, for anybody to get hurt. No. But I understand where Greg Abbott is coming from. Okay? If you can't find them, then let the community do the work and reward them. And trust me, people will be dropping dime. Okay? And it's going to cost the taxpayers of Texas a hell of a lot less. Okay? To do that than it will be to keep paying for border security and paying for welfare and food stamps, because a lot of these criminals, okay, never mind the families that are coming in trying to get food stamps and all that. You're talking, there's criminals in this country that are coming into this country and born and raised in this country, but they feed off the system too. Don't be fooled. They're getting the welfare and the food stamps and whatever else it is they can get their hands on. They're getting it. Okay, it's free money in their eyes, especially if you're an illegal immigrant. It's free money. It's free food, free housing, free cars. Okay, and God knows what else. So now Greg Abbott is like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to take a different approach. You're going to keep blocking me at the border, whatever it is that I want to put up to stop them. This you cannot stop me from doing. I am the governor. I am putting out an all-out bulletin that anyone and everyone could get into the action and make $5,000 a head. And I'm not trying to sound gleeful about it, okay? But it actually, in a way, makes me feel sad that this is the state that we're in this country, okay? That you have an administration that doesn't care about the security of the people, and then you have people that say, you know what? I'm going to have to implement a law that is going to get more people involved, when it shouldn't be like that, because the first line of defense comes from the White House. Okay? And they failed. And I'm not even going to say they failed. Okay? You can't purposely do something knowing that the outcome is going to be bad and say, oh, I failed. No. This is what the Biden administration wanted. His regime, they wanted open borders. They didn't care about the citizens coming in, the citizens here and or the illegals that are coming in. Okay? This is what they wanted. They want the carnage. But now Greg Abbott is like, you know what? No more. Go kick rocks. You're killing, you're destroying American lives in so many ways, from the economy to just security. So now I'm going to take it upon myself to secure them and pay them at the same time for helping keep the streets clean and get rid of all these criminals. And you know what? In my opinion, hats off to Greg Abbott. And I hope and pray that, you know what? More people, more governors and more mayors get into this, because you need to get rid of the bad element. Okay? You need to get rid of them. The only thing I hope that, you know what? Listen, if they round them up, because that's probably what it's going to be. Okay, they're probably going to make it easier for Trump to say, you know what? We didn't have the right to deport them because Biden wouldn't make any deals with their presidents in their countries, but we do have them detained. They are in prison and in mass. Now Trump could come in and say, okay, you know what? We got a bunch of them. Now he's going to call up the leaders to their countries and say, this is going to be the new deal. And I guarantee you, they'll be on flights going right back to where they came from. So once again, hats off to Greg Abbott. Okay? But now getting back on a sour note, forgive me, we got to visit California and see what Gavin Newsom's doing. And this, to me, I'm always saying that the Democrats eat themselves. Okay? This, to me, what the next story I'm going to show you, which is real quick, is the epitome, in my opinion, so far, I should say, because nothing surprises me with the Democrats, but this is the epitome of how the Democrats eat themselves, how the liberals eat themselves. Check this out. Here we go. Okay, this was put out 2 days ago, And the headline is Local Cities Defy Governor Newsome's Orders. Okay? Listen to this. And it's funny, but it's also disgusting at the same time. Okay? Check this out.
Governor Newsom, back in Southern California today, signed legislation about oil drilling. We'll have more on that later in the show. But first, let's talk about his fight with local cities, Huntington Beach and Norwalk. Leaders in Huntington Beach pushing back against the state's mandates to build affordable housing. Leaders in Norwalk banning new homeless shelters in that city. You've been talking a lot about Norwalk and Huntington Beach. Now that you're here, as they push back on some of what you're trying to do on homelessness, what's your message to the leaders of those cities?
Be accountable. Look in the mirror. Society becomes how we behave. We are our behaviors. You want to look at the housing crisis? Just look at what Huntington Beach has been advancing. Look at the homeless crisis. Look what Norwalk's trying to achieve. They're trying to scapegoat. They're trying to point fingers. They're not doing their job, period, full stop. And by the way, that's not just my word. Don't take my word for it. That's what the courts have been saying. In Huntington Beach, over and over and over and over and over again, they keep losing. Taxpayers wasting millions of dollars. It's virtue signaling, pure politics, theater. And the AG, I applaud our Attorney General, I applaud the legislature. We have a housing and now homeless accountability unit, and we mean business. At the end of the day, state vision on homelessness and housing are realized at the local level.
Okay, so you heard all that. It's only a minute 28, okay? So when I first seen this, I was like, look at this pompous prick, okay? But it doesn't surprise me how he's going to push these issues on different communities, okay? And he's making it seem like look in the mirror. It's like, really? You out of all people should talk. Stop looking in the mirror and fixing your hair and look in the mirror and see the kind of person that you are and all the destruction that you've caused in California. Okay? So I was upset about it. I was like, look at this man trying to push all this on people. Now, it doesn't specifically say the housing units and stuff like that for the homeless and all that. Who is it for? Is it for the locals? Is it for the locals and or illegal immigrants? Who knows? Haven't gotten that far. But after watching this, and getting upset, which, I am. But then I realized this was all the disgusting part. The funny part, kind of funny, disgusting, but the real disgusting part, because I was like, you know what? Let me find out why the people of Norwalk and of Huntington Beach don't want these homeless, affordable housing units built for the homeless and homeless shelters and stuff like that. So I did a little digging, okay? And this is going to be, in my opinion, where I say that the left eat themselves, and this is where it gets disgusting. So I'm going to minimize this. We're going to go here. Huntington Beach, California. Okay? Huntington Beach, California, check this out, is a vibrant beach city with a population of over 200,000 people, and it's politically active in the region. The people of Huntington Beach are passionate about making their city an even better place to live through political action. The city has many elected representatives and locally elected officials at both the state and federal level, providing citizens with numerous opportunities to become involved in local politics. So it just explains blah, 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 blah. They have volunteer organizations, stuff like that. But then I looked a little further, and it says, okay, the political climate in Huntington Beach, California is leaning liberal. You heard that right. 53.5% of the people voted Democrat in the last election. 44.4% voted for the Republican Party. So, wait a minute. You're telling me that all you liberals, once again, don't want the garbage in your backyard? Is that what it is? So now you got Gavin Newsom fighting against his liberal people. The left eat themselves. Okay? And then I said, well, let me check out Norwalk. See what that's all about. Where'd I put it? I'll get right to it. Give me a second. Norwalk, California voting. It's going to be the same stuff, blah, 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 blah. I come down here, okay? It's part of the LA County. 71% of the people voted Democrat in the last presidential election. 26.9% voted Republican. The political climate in Norwalk, California is strongly liberal. Wow. But wait a minute. I thought all you liberals were for helping the paupers. You know, when DeSantis, or was it Greg Abbott, sent those 50 migrants to Martha's Vineyard, and all the liberals there, that's where Barack Obama is, and you got all the liberals and, you know, and shit like that, and everybody's all for open borders. Overnight, they shipped out every single one of those 50 people that were sent over there. Just 50. Okay? Saying that they have no space. But would you have argued and helped out Greg Abbott or Ron DeSantis when if they wanted to get rid of those 50? No, you wouldn't. Only when they bring the supposed garbage to your backyard. So now you got Gavin Newsom fighting against the liberals in Norwalk, California and Huntington, who want to keep their neighborhood pristine because it's only good for them. They want to keep their communities vibrant for them. I deleted the page where I was looking at the rents. I believe it was either Norwalk or Huntington. A 2-bedroom is nearly $4,000. A 1-bedroom is over $2,300. The one for the 1-bedroom blew my mind. It was only 620 square feet. Okay? Can't make this up, people. And yet, he's pushing these things, and the reason why I had that other article right here, okay, I'll read it real quick. Governor Newsom's Housing and Homeless Accountability Unit unlocked 7,500 plus new housing units. There was a part here that I wanted to read. Okay, let me see if I can check it out real quick so we can end this video. Shit, I was looking for it, but anyway, it's different. It says that it's in different parts of California that are pretty much all affluent, that he's pushing these housing unit programs on, and the homelessness programs on. But for the most part, if not all of it, since they say that California is pretty much well over 71% Democrat and liberal, that's where he's pushing it onto. And he's telling them they need to look in the mirror and they need to do their part. Why the change? How much does anybody want to bet that most of those people were the ones that voted him in? So what's this all about? Never mind the Republicans, you know, their whole, you know, not a big, you know, a big part of California. Never mind that, because everybody knows the Republicans are not for this. The Republicans are for building people up, okay? But you have to build them up in a certain way that, you know what, if you're going to incorporate them into good neighborhoods, that they're not going to continue with their crime. Whereas the Democrats are like, no, we're not going to give them any kind of help to build them up. We're just going to build houses where you live. We're going to shove them in there, and then we're going to say, look what we did. We're all pious, okay? We did the right thing. But now, we haven't taken anybody off the drugs, off the alcohol, stopping them from committing crimes, nothing like that. We're just going to stick them in your neighborhood, and then you got to deal with it because you have to do your part. Liberals, Democrats. So the reason why I find it disgusting is because where these people are at in these communities, okay, I believe Huntington Beach is the one that's right by the water. It's almost like a mini Las Vegas Strip that's mostly liberal, but no, they don't want to help the poor person. Not in my neighborhood. We'll help you from afar. We're going to drive into the ghetto of Los Angeles on Monday through Friday, go to whatever little organization, whatever rehab, okay, collect a shit ton of money, pretending we help you Monday through Friday, but on the weekends, that belongs to us when we go back to our little cozy home by the beach. You're not welcome. Go figure, huh? Go figure. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. And also, I'll be leaving a link to Loza Alexander's Gifts and Go campaign. If you guys can help him out in any way or leave him words of encouragement and prayer, it's greatly appreciated. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your enemies. Pray for Donald Trump. And don't forget to get out there and vote. Peace.